All right, I'm hanging out at the Mennello Museum for American Art with my friend Shannon Fitzgerald. Shannon, what's your full title? You've got a couple titles squished into one, right?
Hi, Brent. Thank you for being here. Yes, I do. I'm Executive Director of the Mennello Museum for American Art and Public Art for the City of Orlando.
That's crazy. I remember when they did that when you came in. They said, she's good enough for two titles.
Right,
Yeah.
right. What an adventure.
It is. And you're
is.
working on a huge expansion campaign for the campus. We can talk about that later. But today, we're here to talk about this new upcoming exhibition. It's going to open on February 6th.
That's right.
Okay. And I just saw a quick preview. I can't wait to get back in there and look at everything up close. Jesse Aaron, Spirit and Wood. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. Jesse Aaron was a artist who lived and worked in the Gainesville area of Florida. He's self-taught, and he was called with a vision that he had to make art out of wood in his natural environment.
Okay.
This vision came to him in the middle of the night when he was worried about the health care of his family, and they said, Aaron, carve and we'll protect you. And from that point on, he became prolific, working with wood, cypress, Florida woods, where he found and sought faces and expressions in character.
Okay.
Ranging from protective spirits to animals, beloved animals, and he adorned his yard as a gallery at first.
I love that. As someone who is drawn to transforming things in their yard.
Absolutely.
Consistently, I get that. Okay, so he was transforming stumps, cypress knees, and things into like maybe revealing their faces so that they could better protect his family. Is that what I heard?
Absolutely. And he would decorate, add eyes and visions. He would orient them in the yard to ward off evil spirits and protect his property. Over time, he became prolific.
Okay.
It was always seeking the face in our natural environment and protecting. He would lose found wood. He wouldn't take down trees, so he was resourceful even then.
I love that. And then how did he break into like the museum world or into galleries? How did that happen?
He was really part of a generation of African American self-taught artists in the South when curators in the late 80s, early 90s began traveling to the rural South looking for such artists. So he was part of a trend and was discovered by curators from New York and started participating in exhibitions in his 80s.
Gosh, that sounds like they were like treasure hunters, just going around looking for people.
It was, and it was a time where the title, was it folk art, was it self-taught, was it naive art, that was really circulating in the art world.
Okay, whereas now maybe people just use the folk art label?
I think they use self-taught.
Okay.
That they are disciplined, they had a practice, they participated in a dialogue in the art world, but they weren't formally educated in the school systems.
I love that. Is that maybe, do you think people are drawn to that because maybe their unique way of expression hasn't been, I don't know, filtered out through art school? Is that?
I think so. I think it's about ambition and a drive.
Okay.
Like there's a need or an urge to create and put something into the world.
I get that too. So what do you think, what drew you to Aaron's work or Jesse's work?
I think of our mission, we have a lot of strong folk art and self-taught. Our strength of one aspect of our collection is Southern folk art, Southern self-taught, and within that, a lot of our collection considers the African American experience, indigenous experience, and a pretty strong representation of women in our self-taught Florida.
Why do you think that is?
I started with our vision when we first started collecting folk art, and then
or more, why do you think there's more, like there is a strong representation of women in that world in self-taught art?
I think that goes to all things. It goes to economy, it goes to geography, it goes to being resourceful. Many of these artists came from difficult environments, ranging from poverty to racism to hunger to just being isolated, or being a domestic and raising a family. Many of these women artists had lots of children and worked in the farms, on the fields during the day, and still took care of their kids.
You were actually, you were just talking about a woman who has some of her pieces here who had 10 children.
Absolutely. Bessie Harvey raised an enormous family, keeping them fed and hungry and to survive into adulthood. Also later in life found this urge to create work.
Okay. which I wish my grandmother had 10 kids and had
Wow.
to take a little siesta, a little moment
Sure.
after the 10th, just to go away and stay with some adults or some other family, just to come back to, that's a lot to have to juggle all those kids. I can just imagine. And I'm sure art helps with that. How do you select works that are included in this show? Like, do you get to look at maybe a Rolodex of pieces that they have, or is it more just the artist says, here's what I have, find a way to showcase it?
I think there's a couple of access points. Looking at what we have, thinking of thematics that resonate in our contemporary space, and it was important for us to think about something calm and maybe uplifting and harmonious. So spirituality is a big theme, means a lot to different people, but the one current that runs through is uplifting, calm, a hug, if you will. There's lots of reference to animals. Animals are revered, and our environment is referenced. And the spiritual is almost like a caretaking in this exhibition.
Your spirituality does seem to be the big carry through for a lot of the people that you have exhibiting. So Jesse Aaron is the main exhibitor, but then you also have some things in the other rooms that are showcasing other artists that are along those lines, right?
There's 4 exhibitions within this. So the main exhibition is Jesse Aaron, and he's our point of departure. So we have Spirituality, Faith, and Vision, and that's a group show, and that ranges from artists who are also preachers, artists who kind of expanded their visual religious practice in artwork. We have another show, very small, focused exhibition, the artists who focused on geometry and mandala and symbolism, where he found beauty and perfection in mathematics visually.
Wow, okay.
And then we have a landscape exhibition where so many artists, beginning in the 1880s all the way through contemporary, really revered our landscape as a spiritual space for reflection, respite,
recreation,
absolutely.
Right? Yeah, going back into nature. All I'm hearing is people can come into this exhibit and maybe take a break.
Sure, we welcome it, and it's really beautifully installed. I think it's minimal, and its installation, it's calm itself. A lot of self-taught and folk art, there's a lot of stuff, and we didn't want to overwhelm anyone. So I think there's space for reflection.
Like a maximalism? Do you think that's a thing that you see a lot?
Sure, sure, and it's okay too.
Okay, but not in this one.
It's just a quiet show.
I got that. I like. It's good to have a subtle appreciation of the pieces versus, walking into my house, which is just head to toe, too many things. Are there any specific works in the show that you feel have like a unique story or emotional impact that you really want to call out for people if they're going to come and see this show?
I think so. We have a Florida artist, Purvis Young, who's very well respected and renowned, has been for a long time. He worked out of Miami, particularly Overtown, and became really creative in his work using recycled materials, found materials, after being incarcerated. And I think his experience in prison drew him to think about angels and the being cared for and well-being. So a lot of his images reflect angels that came to him during his struggles in prison. And
he was a Florida Prize artist, wasn't he? Purvis Young?
No,
okay.
he wasn't. He's deceased now.
Okay.
But he also rose to fame in the self-taught environment in Miami through Art Basel.
Okay.
And really hit his mark and stride in the 2000s.
Got it.
But he lived on the streets and participated on the streets with found materials. So ours is cardboard, wood, carpet.
Carpet. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. I love that. A lot of folk art is self-taught. It's people who have this compulsion to create. Is that something that you see too?
It is, and often they didn't have the finances or means to buy expensive supplies.
Right.
So their tools and their canvas, if you will, is often around them from their surroundings.
Just making it work. They had a vision. They have to put it to, I was going to say paper, but I guess cardboard is probably more fitting. Yeah. What do you think has been your most memorable moment since working on this exhibition? Does anything stand out? A little moment of discovery?
I think the thread, the rigor of commitment, it takes a commitment to be an artist of any type. It's a commitment and the desire to create without the fame, without the press and the audience. They didn't often have audiences in their lifetime. So it's posthumous appreciation for some of them, yet they created. Some, like Jesse Aaron, did get notoriety in his 80s,
Right.
but it was late, but he still created without an audience. And I think that is compelling for artistic endeavors. And that's been, throughout our history, humanity will create with or without an audience.
Highwaymen, right?
Absolutely.
I think they're probably the most famous for that, right?
Well, they wanted an audience.
They did. And they went looking for it. Yeah.
They got it.
That's true. Are there any accompanying programs, Shannon, or events that are planned in connection to the exhibition that people should know about?
There is. We have a great documentary addressing the life of Nellie Mae Rowe. She's one of the most famous artists in our exhibition. She just had a survey organized by the High Museum. I traveled to the Brooklyn Museum. It's voted one of the best exhibitions of last year. We have a beautiful piece, and we're going to show the documentary that's been circulating at the film festivals.
Okay.
We have our curatorial lens talks. We're excited this time because one of our talks features a conservator, Diana Galante, talking with our registrar, Emily McVeigh, with a little backstory of how you care and repair these artworks.
Care and repair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's really exciting. And we always love when Dr. Watson, Carrie Watson from UCF, comes back. She's an expert in self-taught art, American art, all kinds of art, but her stories are fantastic, and she'll be joining us as well.
Shannon, if people want more information, where can they get it?
At our website, mennellomuseum.org.
I love it. That sounds good.
Yeah.
We're going to be writing about it too over at orlandoshine.com. And then stay tuned for this. We'll take some pictures. We'll let people know what they need to come and see on February 6th for the opening.
That's right. Thank you so much, Brendan.
Thanks, Shannon.